Hey everybody, this is Rycard here again, back with another black and white Pokemon analysis. Today, we're going to be discussing the Secret Wind Pokemon known as Erufuun. So let's get started by taking a look at its typing, abilities, and stats. So first off, this Pokemon is a mono grass type, meaning that it has standard grass type weaknesses and resistances, so nothing special is going on with the typing. As for the abilities though, the first one it gets is known as Mischievous Heart, which is an awesome new ability that gives +1 priority to all non-attacking moves, such as things that inflict status like Toxic or Will-O-Wisp, or stat boosting moves such as Growth or Swords Dance or things like that. This Pokemon probably is one of the best users of this ability just because of the fact that it is the fastest Leech Seeder in the game, and a variety of other things that it can do because of this ability. Up next though, we have a new ability as well, known as Slip Through, which is a pretty cool ability that allows you to ignore Reflect and Light Screen when they're on the field. So that will allow this Pokemon to deal normal attacking damage to your opponents and not have to worry about those screens being up, hindering your physical or special attacks from doing as much damage as possible. And then lastly, we have Chlorophyll, which is its Dreamworld ability, which makes it so that in Sunshine, your speed is doubled. And this Pokemon is ridiculously fast as it is, so in Sunshine, it's probably one of the fastest Pokemon ever, because its ridiculously high speed stat is now doubled. But as for its stats, it has 60 HP, coupled with 85 physical defense and 75 special defense, which really isn't the best defenses in the world, but because of the fact that you can make use of Mischievous Heart to easily set up substitutes, you're pretty much safe for the majority of the time because of the fact that you won't take a hefty amount of damage from attacks that would be doing more damage than the sub would be able to withstand. As for the attacking stats though, 67 physical attack isn't that great, so you probably won't be able to do much with that stat, but you do have 77 special attack, which is slightly better, and it learns actually a lot more special moves than it does physical moves, and you can make use of the stat boosting move Growth to also increase those. So its special attack is definitely more usable than its physical attack, but still not the best or base stat for special attack. And then, as I said before, its speed is incredibly high with 116 as its base stat. So this Pokemon will be very fast even without using the Mischievous Heart ability, which gives priority to all non-attacking moves again. So if you don't even want to be using that kind of ability, you can still be incredibly fast with this Pokemon because of how high its speed stat is. But with that, let's get started by taking a look at a few sets for this video. So this first set is going to be characteristic of what a lead Erufuun might look like. So first we're going to give it an Impish Nature to increase its physical defense but lower its special attack, and then we're going to be using the ability Mischievous Heart. As for the EVs, we're going to put 252 into HP to max out that stat, and then 252 into physical defense to also max out your physical defense. And then the remainder of the EVs are going to go into special defense to give one more point into that stat. The item this time is going to be Leftovers as a way to increase your HP a little bit at the end of every turn. As for the moves, since we are going to be a lead, we're going to be trying to sabotage potential other leads that your opponent might have. So the first way to do that is to use Taunt, which would make it so that they can't use any non-attacking moves such as Stealth Rocks or Spikes, which they might try to set up on the first turn of the battle. Up next, we have Substitute, which will allow us to get behind a safe wall and deal with any potential leads that are meant to be pure attackers that can get an advantage in the beginning of the battle by taking out something with their high attack stats. So Substitute is a great way to prevent that from happening, and a way of also making it so that Erufuun cannot be statused. This also is a great move to use, as I said before, because of Mischievous Heart giving Substitute +1 priority, so you'll always be faster than your opponent unless they're using priority as well. Up next we have Leech Seed, which is going to be also working in combination with the Substitute because of subseeding. So if you can set up a sub and then Leech Seed, you're pretty much safe for a while against your opponent's lead. And then lastly, we have U-Turn or Encore. U-turn's a great way to just get out of there once you find out what your opponent's trying to do and switch into something more appropriate, whereas Encore is a way of locking your opponent into a move that they might be using that you can either resist or not have to worry about because of substitute, or is like a entry hazard move such as stealth rocks or spikes. So Encore will definitely help in forcing a switch, and that is always a great thing because then you can easily get behind a substitute and then start leech seeding and healing up your health and lowering your opponents at the same time. So it's a pretty effective lead set that is really unique to Erufuun, and I've seen it be fairly effective in a bunch of the Wi-Fi battles I've seen of this game so far. As for this next set, it is going to be a pure subseeding slash stalling set against, or to use against your opponent. So first we're going to give Erufuun a Calm Nature to increase its special defense and lower its physical attack, and again we're going to be making use of Mischievous Heart. As for the EVs, again we're going to max out HP with 252 EVs into that stat, but this time we're going to put 4 into physical defense and then 252 EVs into special defense to give you your max physical defense, or sorry, special defense possible. And again we're going to be making use of leftovers for the item. As for the moves, the first one that we're going to be using this time is known as Cotton Guard, which is an awesome new move that increases your physical defense by 3 stages every time you use it. So with our max special defense and 1 Cotton Guard, you are already a very defensive Erufuun that can take a bunch of hits from either the special or physical side. And then for the next move, we're going to be making use of Substitute, which is amazing in the set because of the fact that you're going to have insanely high physical defense and high special defense, and behind a sub, if your opponent can't break the sub with one of their attacking moves, you just get like a free turn to do whatever you want. And on those turns, obviously, you're going to be wanting to use a combination of Leech Seed and Toxic. Both are very effective moves at wearing down your opponent, and Leech Seed also has the added bonus of increasing your HP while taking away from your opponent. So this is probably one of the most effective subseeding sets that you can get because of the fact that your defenses are so high that they won't be able to break your sub, and therefore Leech Seed will be able to help, or Leech Seed and leftovers in combination will allow you to heal up all the damage that your sub takes away when you set one up. And then obviously Toxic is there to lower your opponent's HP even more. So even though all of these moves are non-attacking moves and it can be easily taunted, it's still really effective if your opponent doesn't have their taunt user on the team or didn't bring one at all, and can make Erufuun a very annoying Pokemon to whatever it's up against. As for this last set, it tries to steer away from the supporting sets that Erufuun is normally known for and make it into a pretty decent special attacker. So first we're going to give it a Modest Nature to increase its special attack and lower its physical attack, and then we're either going to be making use of the ability Slip Through or Chlorophyll. Slip Through will obviously be the main one to use so that you can not worry about screens your opponent has set in the field, but if you are using a team that makes use of Sunny Day, Chlorophyll will be a great way to make this Pokemon probably one of the fastest Pokemon on the field. As to the EVs, 4 are going to go into HP to increase that by 1 point, 252 into special attack to max that stat out, and then 252 into speed to give you the highest speed you can get with a Modest Nature. Then for the item, you're going to be making use of a Life Orb to allow Erufuun to do increased damage to its opponent. As to the moves, the first one is going to be Growth as a way to not only increase your special attack, but also increase your physical attack, even though you aren't going to be using that. But the moves that you're going to be using along with this special attack boost are going to be Energy Ball as your main stab grass move, Shadow Ball as a quite surprising move because I did not think Erufuun would be able to learn Shadow Ball, and then Hidden Power Ground as a way to deal damage to other things that Energy Ball, Shadow Ball are resisted by, or can do super effective damage to things that those two moves can't, like Steel types and Fire types. Now I know this type coverage is resisted by flying normal types, which is quite unfortunate, and actually a bunch of flying types, but it gives you really good coverage except for those. So that is the only thing you really need to worry about with this set. Also, Skarmory resists it too. And yeah, but that's pretty much it. Normal flying types and Skarmory. But other than that, you're pretty much okay, or you're pretty much good with type coverages, and you will be able to do quite a bit of damage after a growth boost and your special attack being maxed out. But this is just something a little bit different than what you're probably used to seeing on Erufuun because of its ability to make great use of Mischievous Heart. But that's about it for Erufuun. This Pokemon is definitely very unique and can do a lot of different things that most other Pokemon can't. So I've been seeing it a lot, and it's definitely a really good Pokemon to use. So I suggest you guys try it out when Black and White finally comes out in America. But that's it for this video, so take care and goodbye.